Good morning. I literally just woke up like not too long ago. You can hear it in my voice. Well, it takes me a little bit of time to wake up anyway, but I slept pretty good. I ended up staying up like pretty late reading my book, like later than I thought, like an hour, um, because it was getting so good. This is the book I'm reading. And then I was like, okay, I have to stop. So I think I stayed up till almost 2 in the morning. It was like 1:45 because I stopped editing at 1, a little bit before 1. So anyway, I slept pretty good. I'm supposed to have a coffee date with a friend, but I'm not hearing back from her. I think I heard that she wasn't feeling well yesterday. So I think I'm just going to heat up some coffee for myself and do some more editing. Today is the day after Thanksgiving. I have a friendsgiving with the folks at my dance school later today, and I want to be productive today, get some work done. So I'm just gonna sit in my bed and edit for a little bit and drink some coffee. Okay. Splash of crime. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's get to editing. Okay, it's been a few hours and I'm still editing. Um, Tell me why this second video, I was like, it's going to be shorter. There's no way. It's longer. The first cut is longer. I'm just like, why? Why do I talk so much? Hopefully you guys don't mind long form vlogs because I'm having a hard time cutting it out because I'm like, well, that's my day. Or like, I'm talking about stuff that, or, I just take forever to talk basically. So anyway, it's at 50 minutes right now, 52 minutes, and it's the first cut, so I'll need to start cutting it to the music and then put in my intro and outro still. So, geez Louise. I'm gonna heat up some of the leftovers that I have. It's like longanisa stuffing from Thanksgiving yesterday, and longanisa is like I think it's like a Filipino style sausage, and they use like sweet Hawaiian rolls for the bread part, and it's so good. I'm just gonna make like an egg to go on top of it. My friend got back to me and she said she wasn't feeling well, so I was grateful to be able to stay in bed a little bit longer. One of life's greatest treasures is canceled plans in my book. So never feel guilty about canceling plans with me. Unless I'm like it's been forever and we haven't seen each other, but if it's just like I saw you last week and you can't make it or whatever, you're not feeling social, whatever, odds are I'm totally fine with it and we'll just hang out longer next time or whatever. Like I love a good canceled plan. Not that I don't want to see people. I'm ambitious in my social um, planning, so I have to be careful about over scheduling myself. I try to act like I can crack an egg with one hand just for you guys. Okay, I've been editing for 11 hours and I really delayed going on my walk. I should have gone right after 8 because that's better for my digestion. But I was in the zone. It's 80 degrees right now. So I'm going on my walk and I've kind of left myself in a bit of a time crunch on getting ready and doing my hair for the Friendsgiving, but I think I can make it. Okay, good and sweaty. 3,000 steps, not too bad. I didn't go the longer route this time, but it was a really good walk. It was really hot. I have about an hour and a half to get ready, do my hair. Yeah. All right, let's go. Okay, beautiful people, the countdown is on. I got my moo on. Okay, I'm working on my hair. Got my coconut water. This is one brand that's like 100% coconut water and no sugar. Like, it's really hard to find brands that don't have sugar in it. And it has a lot of natural electrolytes, so strongly recommend. I wanted to do a little story time actually, because I realized I hadn't shared about my chronic health issue and my healing journey and how that brought me here to where I'm at in my life right now, actually. Earlier this year and like late last year, late 2024 and early 2025, it kind of started like a string of really stressful life events. Although one of them was kind of ongoing. So a little even before that, I was starting to experience discontentment with my corporate job I had been at for 14 years. It's like 13 and some change at that point. And I started to feel like I hit a ceiling in my growth there. Um, and I also didn't feel like it was very values aligned ultimately. Oh, that is a weird curl. And I started to feel like I kind of had this ever growing feeling that it just wasn't the right place for me. And um, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur for a really long time. You know, my mom was an entrepreneur and she got to be at home with us for, you know, the later part of my childhood. And I don't know, maybe entrepreneurship runs in my family a little bit. But yeah, and I just saw that as an opportunity for me to have like time freedom, location freedom, and yeah, be able to work from wherever I want to and set my own schedule, and then also work with whoever I want to. And so July of 2024, I had started my business, but I was just doing it like on the side a little bit. I had a couple of clients. And of course, my main focus was my job and trying to make that work. But so towards the end of the year and the beginning of January, some changes were happening at work that were exacerbating that feeling of discontentment. And I was starting to feel triggered, to be honest. Like, my role was changing in a way that I was unhappy about, and they were kind of pulling me back because they were removing someone from my team, and so I couldn't grow. I felt like I was going backwards. And some conversations that I was having with people were not going how I wanted them to go, and it just became more and more evident to me that I couldn't stay there for very much longer and make it work, despite my efforts. And then on top of that, in March of last year, I lost my best friend unexpectedly. And she left behind two beautiful daughters, my goddaughters. And if you're watching this, I love you guys. And that was kind of a wake-up call for me. You know, like, she was so young, and it can happen to any of us. And
I don't want to have any regrets, you know, and I don't want to waste another moment living this life that I know is not aligned with what I want, you know. So that was in the back of my mind. And then I had like a growing uh, unhappiness in my relationship with my partner, or just feeling like it wasn't really aligned with what I wanted. Um, you know, despite my efforts of trying to figure it out. You know, we were working on things and having conversations, but it just wasn't. I didn't feel like it was going to work. And lastly, I lost my cat in April for 5 weeks. I got her back, but it was like a freaking process. I'll have to tell you that story time at some point because that is a crazy story. Um, but yeah, and so I wasn't sleeping, and I still was processing the loss of my friend, um, doing her memorial and everything, figuring out things with her family and the girls. Um, and I started feeling like after the stress had subsided, like the stress events after finding my cat, I started feeling unwell. Like I started feeling ill every day, almost hungover, even though I wasn't drinking. And my stomach, I felt nauseous and had headaches and everything. And so I would call out sick. I would go to the doctors, going to the naturopath, doing tests and stuff, trying to figure out what was going on with me. And, you know, no reprieve on how I was feeling. And still having to deal with work and like being unhappy at work and just like, ah. So eventually I realized that I could do uh, go on medical leave and just work on resting, going to the doctor, and um, and really take that time also to like figure out what I want to do, figure out what my plan is because I knew something had to change. I was starting to get that feeling, you know. And over the next couple of weeks, I started to get really clear on what I wanted to change. Just having that space away from my job, having that free time to myself. I understand that's kind of a privilege, but even if we just clear out 10 minutes a day to give ourselves the space to go inward and think about what we want, what we value, what we want our life to look like without letting fear or limiting beliefs get in the way of that. You know, just dreaming about what that could look like. We can all get there. We can all figure that out. And so my first realization was that I wanted to leave my job sooner rather than later. And I needed to start working on my business and getting serious about it. I didn't have a lot of capacity to do that because I wasn't feeling well, but I did start making small moves, um, and talking to people about that intention, talking to my clients about it. And yeah, and then I realized that I wanted to leave my relationship. And, you know, he's a great guy. We're still in good contact. Um, but it just wasn't the right place for me, I realized. And and then I was going to the doctors, of course, and like figuring out my health and resting and going to get massages, lymphatic drainage massages, stress relief massages, saunas, Reiki, everything that I could think of, spending time meditating, and of course going to the doctor. And then changed my diet and everything as well, so that certainly helped. But I still was feeling unwell. And then in April, shortly after going on medical leave, like that medical leave actually working out, um, I went to Hawaii, here to Oahu, to visit my friend who had just had her third baby, and I wanted to help out with the kids, and I figured it would also be a good relaxation opportunity. and time to get away from give my ex some space since we live together as well. So kind of multi-purpose. But then on my second day there, oh sorry, I was going to get us some matcha. I was listening to some Hawaiian reggae on the radio, which I love. And I go into the place where I'm picking up the matcha, and there's so many brown people there, and I'm just like, I love it so much. And so I just had the thought, like, I'm gonna move here, and I went with it. And like, I didn't try to talk myself out of it. I just figured out, I just started thinking, like, how could I make this happen, you know? And I went back to the house. I told my friend, and she was like, oh my God, we've been friends for like 20 years or so. And so she, you know, and she doesn't have family here. She has one, we have a mutual friend here, but that's it. And so she was really excited, of course. But I had already signed a lease too to move into a new place in the next, like a month later, because our lease was coming up, my partner and I, and I knew that we were living separately. And so I was like gonna cancel. I canceled that lease, and I thought I was gonna have to pay like $3,000 to cancel the lease. And turns out I didn't have to pay it. Like at first they said I did have to pay it. I was like, okay, screw it, I'm gonna pay it. But it worked out, and I thought that was like, okay, it was meant to be, you know. I kind of like, I love it when little things like that line up to work in your favor. That means like the universe has my back. Just another confirmation. But even if that didn't happen, I would have still been like, yes. So anyway, I went back home after being here for a week, and I set up I like, you know, I went back home after being here for a week, and I started putting that plan in motion. I literally sold, you know, 90% of my belongings in the next 2 weeks. We had a garage sale. We had to, instead of packing up to move and setting up movers, I figured out how to do a garage sale and a buy nothing sale. And sale, buy nothing sale, I just mean people could come and buy and just take whatever they wanted after I couldn't sell things anymore and I was running out of time. And then I moved down to my grandma's for a few months while I continued to work on my health, and I got my game plan figured out. I didn't know exactly when I was leaving yet, and because I didn't know what was going to happen with my health, and there were just a lot of pieces of the puzzle I had to figure out. I'm so grateful that my grandma was willing to let me stay with her and had the space for me to stay with her so I could figure that out. And, you know, not feel the pressure of having the finances, not feel the pressure of like having to spend money on rent. I was literally spending so much money on my health, and like, I drained my health savings account, was draining a little bit of my savings. So anyway, I ended up going back to work in July and put my 2 weeks notice in immediately, and worked the last 2 weeks from home. And I felt so good after that. That was the one thing. I could have stayed in Washington, I think, and figured it out and felt good about that. That was the biggest part of my life that felt so misaligned for me. And it was scary. It's scary to be an entrepreneur and to be fully responsible for my own health care and my own phone bill and my own, you know, income, and like have to sell myself, quote unquote, to people, you know, market myself to find new clients. And I'm really the one, I can't mess around with that, you know. But I knew I was ready to take that leap, and like, for the first time in my life, I wasn't like allowing that fear to be in the driver's seat in that situation. That was a big deal for me. I feel very proud of myself. Meanwhile, of course, I was, like I said, I was still going to the doctor's appointments, and in August, I was able to get back in for another a gastroenterology appointment for an endoscopy where they put a tube down your throat, and that's how they diagnosed me with chronic gastritis earlier that year in May. And I found out in August that I didn't have it anymore. And I still had a couple of lingering stomach issues. I wasn't sure what they were. Like I still wasn't able to digest uh, raw vegetables for some reason. But I could feel myself feeling better, which is, the most important thing. And so I slowly started to add other things in, and the raw vegetables were the last to be added in. I mean, I didn't even add the raw vegetables in until I got here, honestly. But I was sensitive to acidity, so I couldn't have coffee, which I love so much. But by the time I left, I was drinking coffee again. Um, anyway, yeah, and then I moved here in September once the final pieces started to fall into place, and I feel so happy. Like I still have a lot to figure out with my business and my finances, but the freedom that I feel is priceless, and um, I'm so grateful that I was able to heal myself by listening to my intuition and like not allowing fear to guide me. Um, and yeah, I think the moral of the story is to, not waste another minute because life is too short, and, listen to your body. Sometimes your body will tell you what you need to hear, even if you're not willing to listen to your mind when it tells you that. And like, I think it's really important to get clear on your vision and for your life and dream big, and like don't allow limiting beliefs to limit what you dream up as possible for yourself. And of course, even if you don't quite achieve exactly the vision that you have for yourself, you'll be closer to it than if you just stay where you are and don't allow yourself to dream and then put the action in place to get moving towards that thing. So, yeah, and um, our bodies are really powerful, and they are tools to um, guide us. And I think we lose that connection with our bodies a lot. Um, Distracting ourselves, being in survival mode, um, literally because we have to. But it takes a lot of like deprogramming, reprogramming, and intention to free yourself from that so that you can have the clarity of what you really want. Preach. Anyway, I don't mean to say that to like um be all preachy, but that's my testimony, as they say. And I hope that it like inspires somebody to move a little bit differently, to move towards their goals, and you know change their life. I mean, you can completely change your life in a matter of days, but it does take ongoing action. It takes like um moving forward despite having fear, like being courageous, um and yeah, and having like having the clarity of your vision and your values to begin with. um I want everybody to be happy. You like my banana clip? My friend got that for me. We have a banana obsession. So that's the end of my story time. I hope you liked it. Okay, I am pretty much satisfied with that. What do we think, guys? Got about 15-20 minutes before I need to leave. I want to get there a little early so I can help set up. Get my little baby hair out. Yeah, she's so cute. Okay, I am dressed. I just need to put on some makeups. The first bat wing always looks great, but then I have to do this side. My tummy is upset again a little bit, and or just like, uncomfortable, and I'm like wondering if I'm nervous because after the well, I don't have to stay, but the social or the friendsgiving is 3 hours long, and then there's this class, a salsa and bachata class after, and then a social on top of that, and like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay for all of that. That's a lot. All right, she is ready to go. Let's put some shoes on and get out the door. Okay, my mom called me, and so I had to talk to her. I miss my mom. It's hard to be away from my mom, although she has lived in Portland and I lived in Seattle for the last 5 or so years. So I'm used to us being kind of long distance, but she would always come up to Washington to see family, and then I could easily drive a few hours to go see her. Oh no, I've got fuzz all over the place. This is so annoying. How does hair everywhere? And my mom is my best friend, and so I tell her everything pretty much. And I hadn't talked to her for Thanksgiving, so it was nice to catch up with her. Now I'm on my way. I'm leaving a little bit later than I intended, but I'm still going to be there at a reasonable time. So doing pretty good. Let's go. Hello, lovelies. I had such a good time hanging out with everybody at the Friendsgiving, and then I ended up staying for the class and the social the whole time. They even extended the social 30 minutes, and so what is that? So 3 hours of dancing at the social, and then an hour and a half of dancing in the class. So, girl, my feet are hurting. But I have like 10,000 steps. I burned hella calories. Oh, 10,500 steps. I still didn't do a lot of my stuff, like my non-negotiables for the day. But I think I'm going to give myself a break on those today because
because it's kind of a special circumstance. So, and it's kind of late. It's almost midnight. But I had a really good time. I met some new people. There were a lot of people this time because, especially because it was the Thanksgiving or the Friendsgiving. So a lot of people stayed for the social afterwards. And then a lot of people from this other dance school ended up coming over and joining as well. So I got to dance with some new people, which was really nice. Yeah, it was a really good time. I requested one of my favorite songs, which is Deseándote by Frankie Ruiz. And I just danced with another lady for that song. We tried our best to be, we're two follows, plus she dances on two and I dance on one. So it was kind of messing me up. But it was really fun. Anyway, I got some leftover apple bread pudding from one of the people who made it, or they were trying to get rid of the food at the end. So I'm a happy baby. And I'm going to go home and go take a shower and go straight to bed. And one of them might be, a group of them might be going out dancing tomorrow again at one of the salsa nights. So hopefully they hit me up about going and I get to go out again tomorrow because I really need to practice with salsa. Like, it's specifically a salsa night tomorrow. And I did a lot of bachata dancing. I did a couple of salsa dances today, and like maybe half of the time I was doing pretty good, and the other half, I mean, it probably depends on the lead and like also me being in my head a little bit, because you have to just like feel what they're trying to do, and be in your body instead of like trying to think so hard and control everything. Oh, you can hear my tired voice so bad right now. I'm just like, this is not what I'm used to hearing myself sound like. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to practice salsa some more. All right, let's just go home because I can't think too much anymore. Okay.